All right, so here's what we did in class on Tuesday. The very first thing is first, the paper's right here. It says Unit 1, but it's actually not. It needs to be 5. And you'll do the same thing with the second page. It's a little bit of a typo here, so go ahead and make sure you make that change. And then I'm going to give you at least one example for both of these. Problem number 1. It says determine which of the triangle congruence criteria should be used to prove triangles are congruent. Well, remember what that criteria is from last week we discussed. We have side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle. That is the congruence criteria. So the very first one here, how are we going to do that? Well, I have a side right here. I have an angle, A. It should be A, not S. A corresponds to F, so there's angles. AB corresponds to AE, there's a side. And AC corresponds with FD, there's a side. So these are congruent by side, angle, side. All right? And then you go through and you match up the others as well. Remember, if you cannot meet one of these, SSS, SAS, or angle, side, angle, then your triangles will not be congruent. That is a horrible congruent symbol. So we'll go back and we'll erase that and we'll write in the correct one. Triangles are not congruent if it doesn't meet one of those. All right. Then we moved on to the second. Ready? And again, this is brief. Okay, we got a little bit more in class because we were here, but for this, the thing I want to focus on is congruent statement. What is a congruent statement? A statement is saying something is congruent to something else. In this case, we talked about one triangle is congruent to the other. What it does go on to say is that the first letter A corresponds with F. So I know that angle A is congruent with F. If it goes on and it continues, B would correspond with G and C with H, and so on. And that's basically what it states there. I'll save us reading the example. So number 1 wants us to sketch the triangles. Please sketch the triangles at a decent size. Don't sketch them really small. And then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to label them. So how am I going to label? Well, it depends on how you want. ML is segment ML. That's how I say it. Segment ML is congruent to segment ZJ. So ML, I chose to go L in the top. ML to ZJ. So I'm going to put Z over here, J over there. So I know that these two segments are congruent. So there we go. Then it goes on. I'm done with this, so I'm going to get rid of it. LR, R has no choice but to go right here. And then it says JB. B has no choice but to go down here. So those two segments are congruent. So I talk about those two segments. Sorry about the all call there. And angle L is congruent to angle J. So angle L is congruent to angle J. I'm done with that. What is my congruence pattern? I have side. The angle is in between the two sides, so that's an included angle, angle, side, angle. And then what about my congruence statement? Well, my statement is triangle. Wherever I want to start, it doesn't matter. R, L, M is congruent to, so I started at R, went to L, went to M, started Z, Z, B, J. So Z, B, J, right there. Done, over with. And you are to go through and do the same thing with 2, 3, and 4. Remember, if you can't come up with one of our statements, side, 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 or angle, side, angle, if you can't come up with one of those, right, they're not congruent. Okay, so if you can't make the statement, they're not congruent. There's a couple of examples of how to. It's a quick version. Make sure you read the directions in classroom and make sure you fill in the assignment as well. Make sure, if you have any questions at all, let me know.